Write an interesting historical scenario and create a 10-minute video for YouTube on this historical fact, history and facts of the rise of the silent movie industry in 1914. Write a description for the video and pick hashtags. The heyday of the silent movie industry in 1914, questions and answers. What were the main reasons for the heyday of the silent movie industry in 1914? By 1914, silent movies had become popular due to several factors: technological advances in film equipment, the proliferation of movie theaters, and the public's increased interest in the new art form. Also, silent movies were attracted by the possibilities for visual storytelling, which allowed stories to be told without words, which was especially important in multilingual countries. What were some key films released in 1914? One of the most famous films of 1914 is The Untamable, starring actor Charlie Chaplin. This movie became a symbol of the era and launched his career. The Old and the New and The Girl from Paris were also released that year. What impact did World War I have on the silent movie industry? World War I, which began in 1914, affected the silent film industry by changing the themes and subjects of films. Many films began to reflect wartime events, raising patriotic sentiments and boosting public morale. This also contributed to a growing interest in documentary filmmaking. Who were the major figures in silent movies in 1914? The major figures in this era were actors such as Charlie Chaplin, Griffith, and Mary Pickford. Chaplin, in particular, became a symbol of silent film because of his comic roles and unique style. What was the role of music in silent movies? Music played a key role in silent movies, creating atmosphere and emphasizing the emotion of scenes. Film screenings often featured live musical ensembles that adapted their performances to what was happening on screen. What technical innovations were introduced in 1914? In 1914, cameras and projectors were improved, which increased the quality of picture and sound. They also began using special effects such as double exposure and slow motion, which greatly enriched the visual range of movies. How did silent movies affect culture and society? Silent movies became an important cultural phenomenon that helped shape public opinion and cultural trends. Films began to reflect social issues and changing mores, which created a new wave of interest in art. What was the place of silent movies in popular culture? By 1914, silent movies had become an integral part of popular culture, attracting a wide audience. Cinemas became popular entertainment venues, contributing to the growing number of viewers. How did acting in silent movies develop? Acting in silent movies was based on visual gestures and facial expressions, as words were not used. Actors learned to express emotions through physical behavior and exaggerated movements, which was necessary to convey the story. What film festivals began to be held during this time? In 1914, the first film festivals such as the Venice Film Festival began to be held, which provided a platform for silent films to be shown and for filmmakers to share their experiences. What was the role of women in the silent film industry? Women played an important role in the silent film industry, both as actresses and directors. Mary Pickford and Greta Garbo became icons of their time and paved the way for future women in the film industry. How has silent film influenced educational processes? Silent movies have been used for educational purposes, showing historical events and scientific concepts. This opened up new opportunities for visual learning and made information more accessible. What were the social and economic consequences of the heyday of silent film? Well, the heyday of silent film helped create new jobs in the film industry, increased viewership, and boosted the economy. It also changed the structure of leisure time by making movies more accessible to the general public. What impact did silent movies have on other art forms? Silent films had a significant impact on other art forms such as theater and literature. Many movie scripts were based on popular books and plays, which encouraged interaction between different arts. How did the relationship between filmmakers and audiences develop? The growing interaction between filmmakers and audiences was an important aspect of silent movies. Filmmakers began to take the audience's opinions into account, which contributed to the creation of films that were more in tune with the audience's interests. How did world politics influence silent movie scripts? World politics, especially before World War I, influenced silent film scripts. Many plots included themes of patriotism and national identity, which reflected the mood of society. How did new genres emerge in silent movies? In 1914, new genres such as comedy and drama began to emerge due to the variety of subjects and style experimentation. This encouraged the development of unique forms of storytelling. How did movie screenings change with the rise and popularity of silent movies? As silent movies became more popular, movie screenings became larger and more spectacular. Cinemas began organizing special events, including premieres and theme nights. What was the role of critics in shaping public opinion of silent films? Critics played an important role in shaping public opinion about silent films by publishing reviews and analyzing films. This fostered discussion and increased interest in cinema. What are the prospects for silent movies after 1914? After 1914, silent film continued to evolve, but with the advent of sound cinema in the late 1920s, a new phase in the history of the film industry began. Nevertheless, the legacy of silent film continues to live on, inspiring modern filmmakers. The heyday of the silent film industry in 1914 was a significant milestone in the history of the art form. The films of this time reflected the spirit of the era and changed perceptions of entertainment, culture, and society. These questions and answers provide a deeper understanding of how silent films shaped and continue to influence modern cinema.